435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom. In your face. We're live. We're live. The Starter Heyman text line is 402-464-5685. Tell me what you're doing on a Wednesday night. Got lots to talk about.
We're back live on the Brick and Mortar. So if you guys want to join in here, 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line as always. We got the boss man DP working late once again. I don't know what if you'd call it working late, but
I'm about to go on leave for a week. Headed to LA. You'll see Becky and I on American Idol Monday. So the Monday night show.
That's right. I should tune in, see if I can pick you
Monday
guys
night.
out. It's been a minute since I've watched the show.
They
too.
told us we're going to be on TV. Like they
Okay,
tell you to
perfect.
dress accordingly. Like there's a whole set of rules.
What are you guys
things-
pulling up with? What's the attire? You think about it that much, or are you going to wear all out Husker gear? That'd be fantastic.
No, you can't. I can't wear it. Cannot
Darn.
be branded.
All right.
Like they have all sorts of rules. Like you can't wear open-toed shoes. You can't wear heels.
I'd like to know who made him put in that rule that you can't have open-toed shoes.
Yeah,
Someone came in there with some feet.
Oh,
They're like, we
it's
gotta
LA.
put this in
Yeah,
the rule
right,
book.
right. But there's all sorts of rules that you're supposed to engage in. You have to be there an hour before the door opens. It's a live recording, so it's 2 hours worth. LA, of course, has plenty to offer. Apparently, this is the best year of American Idol that they've ever had. As I said, if you could take all the previous year's winners and put them in one show, that's what you have. So we're going to do that on Monday. We'll be there until Tuesday. So we're going to go do that Monday, and then we'll come back. I'll be back on air Wednesday. Ridge Lovett is taking over Takedown Tuesdays. And
Yeah,
he
he's
has
done it a few times already. He's been fantastic.
Amazing to watch that happen. We're going to go see the Orioles, the Baltimore Orioles, as they say in Baltimore. Baltimore Orioles.
Are they having a pretty shaky start to the year so far, or no?
They're so talented, though.
Okay, so
They're
it's
so
not,
talented.
They got plenty of time left.
Yeah, they're so talented. But we'll watch them in Anaheim. And you'll be able to see us on TV for that one because I think we got seats on the dugout.
Okay, yeah, easily. So we can go the full on DP and Rebecca Geo track.
Oh,
if we
yeah.
really want to.
Oh, 100%.
Just catch you guys everywhere.
100%. We're going to see some comedy on Friday, which I'm looking forward to.
Okay,
it's supposed to be a stellar show.
Do you know what the comedian is?
So it's one of the Sarah Tiana,
Okay.
who does a lot of sports talk in LA. Bobby, what's Bobby
Chang? That's the only one I remember. That's a comedian. I know.
Yeah, but short Asian guy.
Isn't that
He was on
Bobby Lee?
Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee.
He's hilarious.
Chris Spencer. It's a pretty strong comedy show on a Friday night in Hollywood.
Oh, that should be a lot of
Like
fun.
it's a Hollywood,
A good comedy show. That is one thing. I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity, but a Dave Chappelle show would just be incredible.
So I could tell you several Dave Chappelle stories from his time in DC.
He's a DC guy too?
Yeah, DC.
Of course he is.
Yep.
Something in the water.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And it was baby Chappelle. Like he was doing stand-up at 17. Like he would sneak into comedy shows. But he would do so in my bar. We had a comedy night, and we had some real stars. It's DC on a Tuesday night. But when I was at the Grand Hyatt, we had this really big. So we had three restaurants, 2 bars, and then we had a New Year's Eve party that was 4 levels. So imagine one year we had. So Gladys Knight and the Pips were on the classic floor. So Gladys Knight and the Pips, the 4 tops. On the top floor, it was like LL Cool J, Salt and Pepper. Like you had that. Below that, we had Foreigner and Styx. And then on the bottom floor, we had comedians. And our host was Dave Chappelle. And all of these acts stayed in the hotel.
Wait a minute. Your host was Dave Chappelle?
Chappelle was the host. This is 1994, 95.
So you're around him quite a bit back.
Because he was in DC. Because he'd come to. So before that, I had my own bar. So he would come in and we did a comedy night. Because there's so if you go back to the BET Comic View days, my buddy Griff that came to the old station and hung out. He was on the show. A guy that's coming to Rococo in September. Henry Cho. Henry Cho was on that show. He's going to be at Rococo, so I'm going to try to get him in studio when he's in town.
Yeah.
But the comedy show, and I was the host, so I get them their rooms, make sure they had food, and working with room service, working with security, and that sort of space. And Chappelle, naturally the funniest guy.
Yeah, I hear he's like one of the hardest working guys too, as well. And that's the part I don't think a lot of people understand. That's just what I've heard, though. I wonder if you saw that when you were back there.
Well, I mean, he would come in to the bar where it's a makeshift. It's like if we had comedy here at the Mill, right? You put a microphone stand, you put a backdrop. People would come in and said, I think we'd have 150 people who pay $20 a pop on a Tuesday night. But Chappelle, what I loved was that he never did the same routine anytime I saw him. He was great at crowd work. So it made a lot of sense to just go, I really don't know what I'm going to get tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
yeah, that's awesome. That's like one of the cool things I didn't know about that.
It was interesting times. And this is when, and I was bouncing between 3 different sports bars over the course of 6 years before I went to Carolina. And then finally, I could actually tell this story. I don't think I've ever told the story. So I was at the Grand Hyatt, and I don't think I've ever told this story on air.
Wow.
Okay. So working at the Grand Hyatt over the holidays, as a food and beverage manager, I had the sports bar and then room service for the hotel. But on certain nights, whoever was the last food and beverage manager on, he was the food and beverage on duty manager, right? So if anything happened, any emergency, you were to deal with. It was Christmas, holiday season, Christmas. And I get a phone call. The sports bar was closed on Christmas Eve, 23rd, 24th, 25th. And I get a phone call that a friend of mine is in town. And she's like, I just want to hang out, if that's okay. She goes, but I don't want to deal with a really big crowd. She was a celebrity. I don't want to deal with a big crowd. I just want to hang out with you. We have a good time. Maybe invite a few of your friends, right? So I had a core group of about 10 friends that I invited, guys that I hung out with. Told them to meet me at the hotel. I literally went to the manager on duty and said, hey, the outlet will be closed, but I will be in it, and there'll be music, and we'll be drinking. Is that okay? He said, fine. The friend shows up.
I think I know who the friend is.
Yeah. Okay. The friend shows up, and the hotel reacts.
I would too, probably.
Like, well, why? We were told the bar is closed, but we just saw this celebrity going, well, it's a private event. Except the people who were working at the hotel that night at a holiday are like, okay, I'm going to meet this person. Like, I miss me with that. I'm DP, I'm coming. Like, yeah, I'm coming to meet your friend, man. So a small event turns into 30 people, which means more beer. Okay, fine. Still not a problem. I confirmed it and verified it. After Christmas, and literally while we were at the bar, my friend says to me, I know that you love this, but you are so much bigger than this. She goes, I love you, but I know you love this, and I love this for you because you're really good at it. I mean, it was the top bar in DC, at the top hotel in DC, right? It's a thing. But she's telling me, don't make me come and get you. The following Monday, I come to work, and my boss calls me in and says, okay, so explain to me how you had the outlet open when it was closed. And I said, well, I talked to your boss. I talked to your boss and got permission. And he goes, but you shouldn't have asked. because they were going to say yes. I'm like, no, they could say no. Like the rule is no.
Yeah.
There is no rule. I followed the protocol. He said the protocol was to call me. And I was like, and God bless you, Michael Session, who just passed away like a couple of months ago. Love you, but my bad. And it was the lead to a whole bunch of other things, right? It's an accumulation of, DP, you think you're too big for our hotel. You're too big for the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, you're the second person that's told me that in the last couple of days. And he said, what do you mean? I said, somebody else told me I was too big for this. And he goes, do you think you're too big for the job? And I have a rule. I had a rule about dating, and I had a rule about jobs. The moment somebody said to me, you think you're too good for this, that was the universe telling me it was time. So I went and packed my stuff. I called my friend, told him, I said, literally, I'm leaving the hotel. By the time I drove 30 minutes home, I got a phone call from another friend who was a part of the expansion NFL draft, who was with the Redskins, who was picked in the expansion draft by the expansion Carolina Panthers. He calls me and says, hey, we need you in Charlotte. I'm like, for
okay,
what?
so that's how you got in Charlotte.
Yes.
Okay.
He says, we need you in Charlotte. We were going to start, they have this TV show, but the person that they have can't do it. Like, he's just not good.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me if I knew anybody. And I said, yeah, there's a guy that covers the Redskins. He could be here in a day. And literally packed a small bag, got on a plane, went to Charlotte, North Carolina, moved in with football player. That idea, we did a pilot. We did a demo. And then I called my friend, because me and the football player decided we were going to do our own show, our own production company. So I was going to own this TV show. And I said, we need something to sell, to share with investors and partners. And I said, you know what? I'm going to call my friend and tell her we're going to come to LA and do an interview with her that we're going to put in the pilot. So I called her and said, hey, would you mind doing this TV pilot? You said I was, she goes, sure. And she was doing a movie. Matter of fact, the movie there's an opening night, a movie premiere, and they have a press junket where all these, so she's sat at this hotel and she invites us out. So I grab my football player buddy. We go out, we record the interview. We take it, we piece it together. It sells. And then Fox Sports says, not only do we want it for Fox Charlotte, we want to put it on all of the Fox Sports networks.
Man, things were clicking fast for you after that.
Well, but this is the thing that's, and I keep telling people about this, and we were just talking to Kendall, right?
Mm-hmm. That
the universe is smarter than I am. It'll often tell me to not do a thing that I want to do. Well, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. It'll allow me to make a mistake and then correct me. It allows me to reboot and rebrand and figure out, okay, I can't do that. Whatever that is, don't do that. But it's always worked. And it's the same thing with the story here.
Yeah, something about just like leaning into it. It's terrifying to do, but
it
works out when it seems like
it. When I say that I'm not overly talented at anything other than I'm kind of fearless when it comes to that sort of stuff. I'm not afraid to start over. I'm also not afraid to run through the wall, go places that I haven't been and do things I haven't done. Yeah, I hadn't owned a radio station before.
Yeah. Do you credit that a lot with your youth? Because, we got to sit through the audiobook with you, and your early school days were, drop you off, get used to it. It was this different world.
Well, that was when I say that we're the accumulation of a lot of really good people and the accumulation of a lot of lessons, accumulation of a lot of friction. Like, you got to go through. If I see somebody that's successful, I know that they've gone through some stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's a big misnomer that a lot of people have about successful people. that they were gifted it.
The difference between people who are successful because they had all the resources and the people who had nothing and gotten to the same place. Like we had a listener kind of say, well, it's not like you're doing anything special. And I said, okay, fair. But we're both standing on third base. The work it took me to get to third base is a whole lot different than you being born on third base. And if you have all the resource and advantage and you and I get the same pace, doesn't mean we did the same amount of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just doesn't. I was a part of the Alpha busing program. So to be pulled from an all-black school at an early age, I was 8 years old when I was tested.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Like, because I remember hearing that story.
8 years old.
That'd be crazy.
And we could share that story. We actually have the audio book done.
Yeah, we got the one right now. Shout out to Grace. She got it up here tonight. But Pops is up right now.
Yeah.
That one, I'd have to look in there if that audiobook's out there. I think it is already, though.
To think that they did testing of third graders in black neighborhoods at a predominantly black school. They handpicked some students that they were going to send to be a part of this busing project.
Which is just kind of a crazy thing. I don't know. How did you feel about the busing project as opposed to just like elevating the area?
I didn't know what I did.
That's true.
I couldn't understand. So just remember the Titans,
mm-hmm.
except for instead of being in high school, I was in third grade. Literally the same things are happening. So that riot scene on the first day of school. Yep. 8 years old.
So is that the classic Forrest Gump scene, right? That I'm thinking of?
No, remember the Titans where they come back from camp and right with where
okay. So
right?
Yeah.
Right. So they go to camp.
I was mashing them together.
They fight each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't like each other. They finally bond. They get back off on the bus. It was very tense.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back, they were more connected. But then they had to go to the first day of school together, and the fights break out, and the protests break out. Well, that was my existence. Fourth grade, first day, and there were people who befriended me that day that I'm still friends with. I'm so grateful that these really good people happen to be in that room. Because think about it. It could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
It could have been, there's several moments in my life where it could have gone horribly wrong. And the universe took care of me. And I say that, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful because there were people, and I literally, so they brought in a black teacher from my school, which she had her own issue. But she told me, I have to be tougher on you than everybody else. I have to. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I'm not Jackie Robinson. What are you doing? We're not even talking about playing ball. You have to be a better athlete. You have to be a better student. You have to be better behaved. But I remember alphabetically, right? Sitting, and the people, I remember Debbie Pattison sitting next to me. I remember Bobby McClellan sitting next to me, George May. I remember the people, Patty Roman. I remember the people who sat next to me. And again, talk about random, that walking into a new school, I could have had 5 kids whose parents told them, do not be friends with that black kid.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, those 5 kids said, I want to be your friend.
And at least that's the beauty of kids, right? They see a lot. They see past that BS a lot more easily.
It was, and I found out later that 2 of their parents weren't real happy about it.
Yeah,
but they did it anyway. And then the story of how, once again, sports kind of is the facilitator for removing a lot of nonsense was the first recess. And I just kept saying to myself, make it the recess. Because at least I could see the other, kids that I went to school, rode on the bus with. But out there, they were playing basketball. Even at that age, I knew basketball was a love of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the kids, Eddie Miller, and you were in the room when I was trying to read it, and I had to just catch myself just now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's such a moment that in all the chaos, there's this kid, a group of kids playing ball. He gets the ball. He sees me standing there. He pauses, right? He could have just gone left.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid looked at me, smiled, passed me the basketball, invited me into his world, gave me normalcy, made me feel at home, right? And that basketball, every day on that court, we bonded as kids when it could have gone with parents, angry parents standing around the playground.
Yeah, I forget that detail. Yeah. How big were those crowds around the playground? Just
50 parents.
Jeez.
50
That's
parents.
still crazy to think about.
Well, you think 1971.
Yeah.
1971. And a lot of people didn't know. It's not like in the internet now where people are brought to you. Different people are brought to you, right? Back, it's the 70s. Like, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't, they didn't know black people.
Yeah.
There weren't black people in that school.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, without the internet, like even just me growing in Nebraska, it wasn't until, yeah, I mean, it took a long time before I saw another person of color.
Just think if 10 black kids were dropped off at your high school, your elementary school back in, yeah, it would have been really interesting.
Yeah, it would have been a lot of culture
I'll use the word interesting. is the word I'll use. But learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable, learning to fit in wherever you are, learning to assimilate, learning to accumulate data. Okay, what do you like? Not being afraid of. It's like, well, what's that song you listen to? I've never heard that before. Oh, being curious.
Mm-hmm.
And people now, they laugh at my music taste because it's eclectic, because I was always in a different circle, right? I could listen to country music, classical music. I was a concert celloist.
All right.
I was a concert celloist in elementary school. I made county. But imagine the black kid
with
on a bus
cello,
carrying a 6-foot cello.
Can you still play the cello? Like if someone brought it to
I
you?
haven't touched
Lost
one,
art.
I haven't touched it. I played concert cello, and then I moved on. I advanced to concert bass when I got to high school. But Cool Jock cannot. Yeah, he couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. So I put it down. But I learned to play classical guitar because that was a little cooler, and even that was still I took crap over. So learning to fit in anywhere but not fit in anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. That when I went home to the black neighborhood, they were uncomfortable. Oh, you fancy now. Oh, now you're wearing Izod. Well, I gotta wear Izod, bro. I gotta wear Jordache. What do you want me with? You gotta wear Docksiders. Okay, listen,
Like I gotta blend in for a long time over there.
I spend 7 hours with white people. Guess what? I need to figure it out. But I also was the educator for a lot of people about a difference of culture, which was a whole nother responsibility that for a young kid, and then it's been constant in life.
Yeah, and especially back then. I mean, you had to be the messenger. There's no other way.
Well,
unless they went down there themselves.
I was the messenger here.
Yeah.
There were any black people on the ticket when Rico wasn't really on air.
Yeah, he was front office. I
yeah,
believe, at least when I got here.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
Right. But here's the thing: the universe tends to put me in places that I look forward to the day when I'm not the first anything ever again. The first black anything. I look forward to that. I look forward to people being comfortable rather than uncomfortable with difference. I look forward to people being willing to pass me the basketball. I look forward to people being able to pat me on the back in the classroom. I look forward to people being able to fist bump me at Pinnacle Bank Arena to let me know they welcomed me to Lincoln and that they cared. The people who walk into the mill, the people who seek us out at Memorial Stadium, the people who at the airport look out for us, the people in the Haymarket, you're at a restaurant and they come to let you know what's there. I look forward to more of that. And then. And then. Like that's, but it's all good because we're here.
Yeah,
Well
I mean,
done.
it's really good now. I'll say that much, DP. I was like, when I first hitched the wagon to the ticket, I was like, all right, we'll see where it goes. You show me the new studio. I didn't see that coming.
It's the question Kendall asked. Could you imagine 3 years ago? Can you imagine this?
Yeah, no, I thought I don't want to say cooks because I was been all right money wise, but like, yeah, I definitely thought I was going to do blue collar stuff, which is fine. I got a lot of respect for everybody who does that. It's a wonderful career, but yeah, I definitely, I was at the point where I was like, I better get good at working with my hands here.
Imagine saying to yourself that you were going to be co-hosting shows with all the athletes that you've
I'll tell you right now. I can say
like you're cooler than your friends, right? Like you're cool.
I'll never put down, my boys from Harrington like that. We're all great people. But yeah, I'll tell you what really hit me was the Morning Pearsonell show. Because like that's when I really fell in love with the Huskers. And like the Morning Pearsonell, just anytime you get, because I was a big, obviously Devin Hester fan as well, being a Chicago Bears, and you get a guy like the Morning, you kind of like compare the two. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to tell me early on, like, yeah, you'll get to talk to the Morning Pearsonell 4 times a week. And when the NBA or NFL's on, you guys, he might randomly shoot you a text and it's like, you guys will actually be cool with each other. I'm like, all right. Like that's incredible.
What this is for.
Yeah. And I'll say the other thing, all the athletes I meet, like you realize that they're all just really humble for the most part. I've never had I can confidently say I have yet to have a bad experience with any Husker athlete.
They come in here and they handle their business.
They really do.
Yeah.
Well said, DP. All right, we got to throw it to break here. What do you want to talk about on segment number 2 here? I'll let you set the floor.
Oh, who knows? You keep saying, one-on-one is like Forrest Gump chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere down the rabbit hole. Don't go anywhere. One-on-one, DP, Harrison Arns. We'll talk to you in a bit.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We've been hunting these fields north of Kearney since high school. My buddy Ryan has always been my wingman, the life of the party. But I saw a change, and he got really down. Talked about his life being worthless.
If you know someone who's struggling, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home, taking care of friends and neighbors. It's what we do in Nebraska. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music,
and pretend like their music is your music.
Ah, this is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not too? Instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play, because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to One-on-One with DP. Brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is a historic playoff run for the National Basketball Association. For folks who aren't paying attention to the NBA playoffs, you're missing out on a historic run. Never in its history has every lower seed road team win.
I think I saw it was like 50 years.
They're 6-0.
Yeah.
The Knicks are 2-0 in Boston. The Pacers with 2 wins in Cleveland. Nuggets doing their thing.
I'll tell you what, if the NBA's got to be really upset about the Celtics Knicks one, just kind of the way it's sitting 0-2 right now. If the Knicks turn that into a gentleman's sweep, the amount of money lost in that series between the Knicks and Celtics, I don't know how it's going to go at all, but I am just utterly shocked they pulled another one away.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the league cares. This is exceptional.
Yeah, true.
You get the biggest market, the New York market, watching against the reigning champions.
Mm-hmm. Also, probably the second biggest market. You can throw LA in there too, though.
Right. So Boston fans now have to clinch. New York fans are going to show up at the Garden. Spike Lee is going to be unbearable courtside.
Yeah, he is.
The celebrity cam at Madison Square Garden is going to be unhinged.
Knicks deserve it.
Right?
They, you know what I love about the Knicks and their celebrity row? And I want to get, because maybe this is an old man take. Burlington thought it was an old man take, and you might be right on this. I cannot stand the billionaire row when they're just wearing like their nice loafers and a collared up shirt, and they won't even put just an inkling of the team they're rooting for on them that night. Is that an old man take? Because when I do watch Knicks games, their celebrities, they're gearing out in Knicks gear. They're about rooting for the team. I watched some of the other
Celtics fans dress. Mm-hmm. Knicks fans dress.
Lakers is the worst.
Fans. Diane Cannon's not trying to impress you. Spike don't care. Spike wears the same. He wears whatever jersey he wants.
Yeah,
whatever
he's rooting for the Knicks. That's what I'm getting at. They don't care about what we think. They just want to root for their team.
New York and LA, Clippers or otherwise, they're just different. They're just different than the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And then anywhere else. So Becky and I, we sat courtside at the Garden our last trip to New York. And it's spectacular. It's spectacular. There's no other way for me to tell you how unique it is when you, celebrity, 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 celebrity. And you try not to fanboy, but you can't help it. Like, you can't help it. And then everybody's somebody. The league has done an exceptional job in getting celebrities to do that. And the teams are smart enough to know ticket value and value of the event goes up with celebrity.
All right. So this is where mine becomes an old man take. Because I'm not thinking big picture on it.
Well, I don't mind.
I just want to see the team gear is all I'm saying.
I don't mind. I'm a gear guy, but I also understand people who aren't gear people.
Okay. That's the bridge I need to cross.
I'm a gear guy. It used to be like if I went to see the Commanders, I was commandered out. If I go to see the Huskers, again, from the media side, I tend to not Husker gear it.
Right.
But I wore a lot of Husker gear. You know, it was code placement here. Like I'm walking around Haymarket. I gotta make sure people know that I'm okay. Right, I belong.
Yeah, that is true. It's,
right,
it's
like,
an easy way in.
A little bit different. To go, okay, he's one of us. But when it comes to those things, and by the way, the Thunder are absolutely paddle smacking the Nuggets.
Okay, I kind of the Thunder
82-47.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
82-47, and it's not even halftime. It's not even halftime. 82 points. It would take the greatest collapse in the history of the league.
I'm looking at how they got 82 points right now.
Shea has 18 and 7 assists.
Yeah, I guess they just got 10, 8, 6, 12, 18, or 10, 18, 8. They must got a decent amount of free throws as well.
Man.
You were this is the scary part with the Thunder is like you were banking on, okay, the young team struggles. And you're just hoping maybe they don't figure it out this year. And this game right now, like I said, unless they somehow turn around.
But they gave away one. Like they gave away game one. They gave up, and that final sequence, let me say this about last night's matchup. Watching the Pacers and the Cavs in what looked like the most tired 38 seconds of NBA basketball I've ever seen. Free throw line late. The first conversation is what your matchup is under the basket. Your second conversation is who has the shooter. Who has the shooter? And you can't miss. You can't miss. You can't miss. You had a player inside, so if you decide to double down on the big, the guy at the top of the key gets a running start and he gets to jump in front of the shooter. But you have 4 defenders against 2 offensive players. And a third player you cannot allow into the fray. The shooter gets his hand on the rebound. You didn't box him out. And then they drag you out into deep water. Harrison.
You never want to be in deep water with Halliburton. I'll say this.
Well, but here's the thing.
Too good.
It is this thing in the NBA where apparently there's a rule that we don't know about that says you have to play one-on-one in critical moments against the opposing team's best scorer on the last possession. But I don't know. I'm not letting that dude shoot.
Especially when you got the 5 on the 1 right there at the end of the game. I don't want that matchup at all.
And then
but they don't need a 3.
He gets the rebound. They kick it back out to him. He's the top of the key. And they do an initial good job of directing him. Short side of the court. He's the third offensive player beyond the 3 on that side of the floor. But you have boundary defender and then 2 unders. You've got a help defender who's ready to jump him at the top of the key. Except the defender at the top of the key decides to go from boundarying him to going flat. He went flat and allowed him to go to the right, which set up space. He set up space, crossed him over back into space, step back 3. It's much, Harrison, I tell my players, it's much easier to defend a third of the floor than it is half the floor. If you get somebody on a boundary, keep him in the boundary. And if he can't, bring help. They did neither. He got to the flat, bang, step out inside the circle, step back 3, ball game. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
2 games in a row. Halliburton didn't do it in the first game.
For 2 of the 8 best teams in the league couldn't close. And we go to our favorite phrase. The most difficult thing in all of the sports, finish. Jeez.
Yeah, that one is I'll tell you what, that message has never been more clear to me in my entire life. Like watching the Huskers for as long as I have and seeing the close finishes, the Bears last year was the perfect example of finish. I'm again, going back to the Commanders, I'm glad we brought you out of the portal. Like, you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
We didn't finish. And that happened over and over and over
finish.
again. And it's
like you're dancing with 1 play on the clock. You're dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You forgot to finish.
Mm-hmm.
You forgot to finish. And you watch the Commanders finish.
Yeah, they didn't
6 of their
lose
wins
focus despite what was happening in front of them. They never lost the focus.
6 of their wins were down the stretch final drive wins.
Mm-hmm.
Learning to finish. We talked about with the Husker basketball. The best part about their postseason tournament win, watching them finish, figuring out a way to finish. The difference between a 10-win Husker football team and a 4-win Husker football team is the ability to finish close games. We've been talking about it since I got here. 5 years. 5 years.
I wish it wasn't 5 years.
5 years of when the Nebraska football program learns how to finish games, finish drives, finish halves, finish games, this program will go to a prominent bowl and be in some interesting conversations. But if you don't know how to finish, my goodness gracious, ask Nebraska baseball how important learning to finish is. And I am so proud of myself that I have not gone off on baseball, because it'll be really interesting to see what the build is. Nebraska softball has given a playbook for how to be successful in spring sports. Baseball might want to follow. Because if you tell me that I can get better, the first area I need to get better at, pitching. And good pitching, quality, consistent pitching, to start games and to finish games, changes your program. You lose on a walkout. You lose to Creighton.
Yeah, 7-8, tight one. They came back. They clawed away a little bit there at the end, but
came back, but
not enough. It's also tough to do when you put yourself in a hole. What was it, 7-1? I think at one point.
Yep. And softball got an interesting day today, because they're scheduled 11 o'clock tomorrow to play the winner of number 6 Iowa and number 11 Penn State. Except number 11 Penn State beat Iowa. Number 11 Penn State beat Iowa. So Penn State gets the Huskers tomorrow, 11 a.m. in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel. It's funny that Iowa lost to Penn State, but I also would like to beat them ourselves. But it's funny to see.
I don't care why you went home, as long as you get on out of here.
There's something weird about Penn State baseball and softball. Like, they're postseason players. I don't know what it is about the big thing. Like
they
when they get
showed
towards
up
postseason,
and
they
got a
play.
big win. It's important. So good deal. But 11 o'clock tomorrow, Huskers, Penn State softball.
Should be a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow. Don't go anywhere, though. We got one more segment, one-on-one DP. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Talk to you in a bit.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service. But it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free. So visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first one. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not too? Instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play. Because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
We've been hunting these fields north of Kearney since high school. My buddy Ryan has always been my wingman, the life of the party. But I saw a change, and he got really down. Talked about his life being worthless.
If you know someone who's struggling, talk to them about temporarily storing their guns away from their home, taking care of friends and neighbors. It's what we do in Nebraska. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP. Brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. One-on-one, DP. DP, you got one of the deepest camera rolls I've ever seen. Yeah, history in there. That's incredible.
Well, here's the funny thing was that when I first got here, and I would try to tell people, hey, this is who this is. This is who. And they're like, well, come on, you don't know these people.
Yeah, I remember we had some serious doubt with
oh my goodness.
some of the people we
oh my goodness, you're right. Like it was, you don't know so and so. Well, yeah, I do. I do. Oh, was that once? No.
I think it's also just, people, maybe I'm wrong in this, but I think just like people in Nebraska, like we feel so far detached by celebrities. Not that anybody feels bad about it or anything, but like to find somebody who is in the city who does have good relations with people that are at that stature, it's like, nah, why are you in Nebraska then?
Yeah, but that's the thing that I get asked the most is, well, why are you in Lincoln? Why are you here? Like, who sent you? So I get the two sides. Why are you here and who sent you? There were reports when I first got here, people were saying that, well, DP's a federal agent. He's a spy. I was like, man.
They really thought you were a spy for a little bit?
Well, because okay, so I had some government connection.
I will say it does make sense. It's like this guy's selling the Husker gear too hard. He's really trying to blend in right now. He's in some operation.
Well, but here's the part of that. So having traveled all over the country covering sports, that if I'm not from there, I have to identify in the culture, that I care and connect to the culture for several reasons. I'm an outsider until I'm not an outsider. And if I'm going to say that I'm going to be emotionally invested in that town, that sport, that team, what are the ways there to do that? Right? Because they're like, well, he's having on all these people from DC. Why is he having on people from DC? Because they know sports. Period. Like I know them. I trust them. They know what they're talking about. Right? And why would you have on Barry Thompson? Nobody knows who Barry Thompson is because he knows football. He knows sports.
And people come to realize that the more they listen. That's the beautiful part about it. Because some people love Barry Thompson on Wednesday if he's available.
Right? We had Johnny Holiday, who did just a series of shows every week. We had Everett Gray from UNLV in Utah. I would have on former athletes because, one, it was a pandemic. Yeah. Two, who else could I have these conversations with when people here hadn't done what I had done?
Yeah, well, even a guy like Dave Turcotte played in the Olympics.
Right.
Base Jordan.
Right.
Like everybody wants that story.
Like if we want to talk about the GOAT,
talk about the guy who guarded him.
The guy who guarded the GOAT.
Yeah. Like, I don't care where you're at. You can be under a rock. That story is going to intrigue you if you know anything about basketball.
And so, I mean, that was a big part of all of this was, and then, then I was called a name dropper. And I'm like, I'm only talking about people I know. Like, I'm not guessing. I'm not giving opinion. It's, if we're talking about Maryland basketball, why would I not go to the Maryland basketball historian? If I'm going to talk rock and roll music, go to somebody in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like that part. And those people are all so great at what they do that they Nebraskaized the conversation. Barry Thompson learning Husker football, right? Everett paying attention. He knows Fred Hoiberg. He can talk about, style of play, and those Turcotte understands it, right? We had Canadian athletes who all know Turk and they know them. But that's how this worked.
And it's also refreshing to get the outside perspective. Okay, we know what Husker fans think about Dylan Raiola. And again, that's why it's great to get a guy like Barry. Okay, what do you think? Because you're not going to sell me crap. I know that much.
And there's a part that some Husker fans don't want to hear outsiders' opinions.
Yeah, and that's where, if you want to if you like a warm echo chamber, there's places to find it.
There are a lot of Husker fans that just tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what I want to hear. We went through the Frost years. And everybody immediately, once it went left, it's, well, why didn't anybody in the media tell us that it was going left? Well, we were telling you, you wouldn't listen and you didn't want to listen. I want to tell you, are we any good? Do you want to know the truth? No.
It's conspiracy, DP. We only say good things.
Hey,
it's conspiracy.
We are who we are.
We're getting paid. No, I'm just kidding. That's gonna.
We are who we are.
Yeah,
we are who we are.
93.7 The Ticket. Unbiased Sports Radio. That's what we do here.
Yeah, we're just conversations. You don't have to be biased when you're just talking. I just put that video on your phone.
I saw it come through. I'm gonna have to check that out. But don't go anywhere. We got some great content. I'll find either replay or you'll hear from me again for the next hour. Thick weeknights, Harrison Arns DP, but this is gonna wrap it up for one-on-one. Don't go anywhere.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.